Hello everyone, this is Coco here, and today I'm going to show you how to get a playful night out look using Tarte's new palette. So first I'm just going to get my hair away and prime my face using the Hourglass Minimal Veil Primer. Sorry, the name just kind of slipped me. So I'm just going to pat that all over my face. Try not to get it in your hair like I did here. So just make sure that you get a nice even layer all over your skin, and that you want to make sure that you let your primer sit for a bit before you put your foundation on, otherwise it won't be as effective. And if you haven't already, honestly check out this primer, it is a game changer. So after you let your primer sit, I'm using Elizabeth Arden's Flawless Finish Mousse Makeup Foundation. With a foundation brush, just any of your liking, just get that all over your skin evenly. I really like this foundation because it's very light and sheer, however it's very buildable too, and it's enough to cover anything of my imperfections without making it look like it's too cakey or dried up. It honestly just looks like second skin to me. So you just want to blend. Make sure you get every inch of your face, including your neck. People always forget that, so don't forget to drag it down just so it looks more natural and it matches your skin tone a lot better. Alright, now that we're done with foundation, it's time to move on to concealer. I'm using the Chanel Perfection Concealer in number 20. Because this concealer is lighter than my actual skin tone, I'm not only using this as a concealer, but also as a very subtle highlighter. So I'm just gonna highlight my under eyes and conceal them, the corner of my mouth and the redness around my nose, and also highlight a bit of my forehead. So with your concealer brush, you're going to want to blend that all away. Clearly you don't want to leave that on your face, looking like it is right now. And after you're done using your concealer brush, go back with your original foundation brush that you just used over the spots that you concealed, just so it blends in a lot more. And it looks a lot more natural too, because you have bits of your old foundation on the brush just blending in with the new color that you added in. Now moving on to eyeshadow primer as soon as I figure out how to show you guys properly. I'm using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. You're just going to want to use a pea-size amount on the tip of your fingers and just pat that very gently on your eyes, as your eye area is very sensitive. So after you primed your lids, I like to let it sit for a bit, so we're just going to be moving on to our eyebrows. I forgot to show you my product, so I apologize for that. But here I'm using this Dior eyebrow gel, and from this limited edition palette they had years ago. And it's so upsetting for me because this was a discontinued item, and I basically hit pan on everything in that palette except the eyebrow gel. And I've never done that with any other palettes before, so it just goes to show how much I love that. Dior, you gotta bring that back out again, please. Alright, so now that we're done filling in our eyebrows, I'm just gonna grab a spoolie brush to brush out my eyebrows and make everything look a lot more natural and less harsh. Alright, so on to the main event, using Tartelette's in Bloom palette. Okay, to start off, I'm just going to be using the color Smarty Pants as a good transition shade, using an eyeshadow fluffy brush. You just want to get that all over your eyelids in sweeping motion, back and forth, as this is going to be a good color for our base. I love this color because it's really nice, light brown neutral color that is matte, so it's very versatile and very buildable. So after we're done with that, I'm going to be moving on to the color Jet Setter, where I'm going to be applying those to the outer corner of my eyes in order to give my eyes a bit more dimension and depth. Because I have monolids, I need to make my crease, so I would need to add a darker color to the outer corner, giving them more depth, which is what I'm doing here. So you just want to go in sweeping motions back and forth from the outer corner of your eyes towards the inner. Now using a flat eyeshadow brush with the color Funny Girl, which is a gold glittery color, and MAC Fix Plus, I'm going to spray that on my brush just so that it could grab a lot more color and glitter And I'm just going to apply that in the inner corners of my eyes to brighten them up. So now with the same brush, using the color Firecracker, you're just going to want to apply this to the lower corners of your outer part of the eyes. And you're just going to want to blend it in with the previous color before. Firecracker is probably one of my favorite colors out of this palette. It's such this nice shimmery bronze coppery color that just goes well with so many things. Alright, so now using a smudge brush, we're going to be using the color Leader to add on to the very outer corners of your eyes. To help as a guideline, you're just going to put it right above the previous color. This color is probably one of the darkest colors in this palette, and you're just going to add it to the outer corner of your upper eyelid just to add more depth into your colors and brightens every other color. And if you think you applied it a bit too high for your eyelids, don't be afraid to use your fingers to just smudge it out a bit, just like I did here. Now using another smudge brush, I'm going to take the color Charmer and apply it to the top of the other eyeshadows and towards my brow bone, acting as a highlighter. And this also buffs out any harsh edges that I find due to the previous darker colors, and it just kind of brings everything all together. Alright, so now that we're done with our eyeshadow, we're just going to be moving on to the eyeliner. Here I'm using the Tony Moly Black Gel Eyeliner with my own eyeliner brush. I'm just going to warm that on the back of my hand and then start applying, starting with the outer corners of my eyes, moving towards the inner corner. Now this eyeliner gel comes with its own brush, but I honestly do not like the application of it, so I'm just going to use my... I find it's a lot easier when you're using gel eyeliner types to apply some on the back of your hand, which is warm, just so that it can melt the product a bit and it'll glide on a lot more easier, and obviously it makes for a lot easier or a lot better of an application. So you just want to take your time doing your eyeliner, as we all know how frustrating it can be when you don't get them even. So now using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the color Milk, I'm going to apply that to my waterline of my lower lash line. And this is just going to make my eyes a lot brighter and make everything pop a lot more. Now going in with the Buxom Mascara, I'm just going to prep my lashes for fake lashes. It helps if you wiggle your wand back and forth and to comb between your lashes to get a nice even layer of mascara. Now using eyelashes that I found on eBay and eye cream glue in the color Black, I'm just going to apply a nice layer onto the lash line. My lashes are already cut according to my eye shape, so you might want to adjust that if your lashes are new. Wait for it to dry, and just the way I do it is I apply my lashes at the inner corner first, going towards the outer corner, and just make sure they stay in there. Now with the other eye, the same thing. You have your glue, go from inner corner to outer corner, and just make sure they stay in there by checking that the glue is dried. Alright, so now using the Brush and Bronzer Powder Duo by e.l.f. Using the blush side first with the blush brush, I'm just going to apply that on the apples of my cheeks. All I gotta say is when I got this palette, it was definitely a steal because it was only for $4. Now using my NARS contour brush, which has definitely seen better days, using the bronzer side, I'm going to apply that to the lower bottom part of my cheeks just to sculpt my face and sculpt my forehead. So now that we're done applying bronzer, I'm just gonna go over it with the Pro Buffing brush from Sephora. I'm just gonna buff it out, any harsh lines that I see, just to make everything blend a lot more easily. Now using a powder brush with a setting powder from Makeup Forever, I'm just gonna apply that all over my face to set everything in. Alright, so now for the final touch, I'm going to be using this lipstick by MAC called Sea Sheer. It's a very nice, smooth red. And that's it for this makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any, and please check out our other videos. Until next time!